3, 2, 1.
Normally I try to keep it nice and neat, one job per vlog, but for this one, I'm just going to show you a full week of what it's like for someone at my level. And that includes the end of one job, the chaos in between, all the random thoughts through my head, and then the beginning of another. So this is wrapping up my commercial DP work that I did in South Carolina. This was outside of scope. It wasn't storyboarded. The director said, hey, can you just do a quick OTF with the farm owner? And I said, gladly, and I'm also going to do it without lights. I absolutely love how it came out.
Is really missing out. This is the whole.
I'm looking at Zillow. I should be answering emails, but I was watching one of Jared's vlogs, and he was talking about how he got some advice from a guy in Europe named Marcus Lompa, that guy. And it's so funny because he was telling him something about the Blackmagic monitor, recording with HDMI trigger, stuff like that. Marcus has also helped me. When I was getting my Adicam cart, I saw that he had one, and I said, Marcus, can you please put the wheels on the cart, because I need to know if that fits into the trunk of my car. And he let me know that information was not available on any other site. So Marcus, you're helping all of us. And I was talking to Marcus recently. He might be coming to the States to film some World Cup stuff happening in North America. So he is someone who is actively working in this industry and up to some pretty cool projects. I'm going to a filmmaker meetup that I did not have to put on. This was hosted by Quentin, a local production company owner, aimed more towards sharing information rather than the casual meeting, because I've been doing these meetups for forever and the people know each other by now. So I'm thinking of utilizing this structure at least here and there moving forward, because we had a ton of good ideas and conversations. So you saw Adam Kalinowski. He was presenting. I work for him a lot. He is scaling his production company. And then there's Vipul Bindra. You've also seen him. By the way, we were all connected because of my YouTube channel. Vipul got to give his perspective as someone who's been doing this for quite some time and has a strong rooting in the area. And then Alex was giving some of his lessons on what he does for pricing structure. So all of this information is very valuable, no matter who's in the room. This one was really cool. Juan was here. I had a consultation call with Juan a couple weeks ago, and it was really cool to be able to catch up, see what he had implemented on, and where he was going now. So that connectivity that I can have with these meetups are just so valuable. I'm thinking of removing my FX6 altogether from my retainer clients. Right now, we primarily use it for sticks and on the teleprompter. So I'm going to use my A7S III instead. The only problem is I need to raise the level of the camera. So I need to get one of those like block risers. I'm going to see if Colonial Photo and Hobby has it. So here's another option. It doesn't have the vertical height adjustments of this one, but it's 20 bucks, and it's just a simple block, just a little riser. But I do like having some versatility. I don't need to overbuy. I'm just gonna go with the $20 little riser. Sharing information is part of my new strategy for wealth. All of the people that I've met with who are rich are open to talking about money. So I want to do the same thing. Adam Kalinowski invited me to come over. He was going to make some, holiday old fashions with homemade cranberry. It was really good. But we were able to bring up all of our finances in a private setting and talk about exactly what was our revenue this year, what was our profit, what were our expenses, what were we able to maybe fix for next year, what are the goals for next year. And I absolutely love having friends that are open to share about this stuff, because otherwise you're just shooting in the dark going off of YouTube videos. This was footage from the last job that he hired me for, which was in New Jersey. So this is the type of stuff that we create. Normally, I never get to see this stuff. So when he was showing me, I asked him if I could put it on the vlog, and he said yes. So you guys rarely get to see the actual footage that I make. You only see me on set. But this is only going to be the first conversation of a few that I'm going to have about money, about how much I made. And at the end of the year, I'm going to make a full my finances in review for 2024 because my income has drastically increased from last year. And I made a video about last year. So I want to share how it's increased, how much it has increased by. So jumped over from this meeting, then went to another one with a buddy, Anthony. He also owns a production company here. So I'm getting it from two perspectives of production company owners. I am the odd one out here. I'm the freelancer. So my structures are drastically different than theirs. But it was very cool just to hear three people working in the same industry in the exact same market. However, our clients are completely different, like couldn't be more different. So I got to do the same thing, compare and contrast. How much did you make? How much do you have in the bank? And I would encourage finding people who you trust that you can share these numbers with, because it feels like it's a catalyst towards being financially literate and figuring out what other people are doing, how much they're making, and what you could be charging, the structures you could be using. It's really, really nice. After all that brain power, it's time for some crude thinking. Honestly, I will recommend doing any type of combat sports to anyone who is a business owner or that is just constantly overwhelmed by thinking of their work from a myriad of different angles. Try striking, try grappling, because it will wipe your brain clear of anything that is weighing on you. I didn't know we weren't supposed to do any grappling, so that's why people are clearing out. But Anthony hasn't done this since he was a kid. He did some jiu-jitsu and boxing when he was younger, and he got a solid hit on me in the beginning. But the biggest thing, no matter who you are, is during 2 hours of combat class, it's your cardio that will make the difference. So this is the studio house for my retainer client. Normally, we bring in all my gear. It's a 2.5 hour drive. And basically, they said, you take too long. They said it nicer than that, but basically, they want a workflow change. They want to come into the house and literally flip a switch to have a green screen over here, a kitchen scene ready to go, and a living room scene. So they said, what do we need to do to make that happen? And I said, well, it's a lot more gear than I have because I can't leave my stuff here. So we gave them a full list of everything that I think that they would benefit from the most, and totaled to about $5K, which is pretty cheap for a studio overhaul. So I like the idea of the rolling stands. As for soft boxes, I wanted to have them all be the exact same depth. Godox has two different kinds. They have full, and then they have a thinner one called slim. And that slim one allows to not crowd the limited space we have so much. So I'm looking forward to testing these. And then that is the green screen, which honestly, it's huge. I know it's supposed to be massive, and that is a very small box. I intentionally got 200 Ds, not X's, because we are only going to be matching window light. There's no RGB, there's no warm or tungsten mimicking that we need to happen. So going for the D over the X, we're also going to get a little bit more output. And most importantly, like literally this is the whole defining thing, is they are on the Sidus app. So I asked a lot of people, do they like Sidus? And surprisingly, a lot of people said they are into the new Amaran app. So I'm going to, my theory is just be able to come in here, flick on the virtual room in the Amaran app, and be ready to go. This is looking good. We got a fleet of lights, and these work as I expected. Pretty simple, not much variables there. This is the only thing that could have some difficulty. This is a green screen from iCan that only had, I don't even know if it had any reviews. But this is gonna be a 3-panel wall. That way we can use it for double angles on a green screen where we are shooting head on, but we also need a side angle. And if you have a flat wall, that side angle usually looks off the green screen. So by having a 3-panel that has a main and then a wing here and a wing here, we can just close that in. And so this B camera looking can see green on this wing. 4 sets of frames, and now we're going to knuckle them together before we put on that. It actually packs up pretty well for how big it is. Don't laugh. This is what I turned in when they said, how do you see this studio going? I just opened up Instagram, went to stories, and made this high-level 3D rendering because I need to just communicate the ideas. And whether it's with this or vlogging or whatever, a lot of times it doesn't need to be the most well-polished. It needs to be the most well-communicated. That's the strategy that I follow with my vlog, and that's what I did here. Obviously, the end results need to look good, but it's mostly about getting the idea from my brain into their brain. So this is what my client was previously working with. They had a bunch of very, very low-powered, those weird bulbs where you can see like the swirly, those ones that they have barely any output. And I just put all these up, and ironically, this was a better key because it was low-powered lights, but very even all the way around. Not a traditional green screen. I don't know what color that is at Home Depot. And this was their first attempt before they asked me or told me what they were going to do. So I said, this, in theory, is nice, but in practicality, there's not enough room to light this wall and then to light the person here and then have the gear. So that's why we're doing that effort in the living room. But this would work in a pinch if you're doing some, she does like iPhone selfie stuff. So for this, turn all those lights on, this would definitely work. So this is definitely in the way, and I can't uninstall this because there's wires, there's no easy disconnect. So what I did is I just took one of these chains and brought it up even higher just to decrease the distance here. So it was hanging to about here, and just bring it up there, and that should make a difference to get it out of the camera view. We got the base plate here and then the riser, but even lowering this teleprompter as fully low as it can go, we're still not able to get up and then into that cavity. So it was a good attempt, but I'm just gonna move back to the FX6. I really wanted this to work because this has MP4 codecs, which the FX6 does not, which means I do not have to transcode before delivery. So if the FX6 could just get a firmware update to include MP4, that would be great. So if we were to drop this down, the aperture, 4-5-6 split, still a little bit of work to do. I would love to reduce my camera gear to this size. Using the DJI Mic 2, because the Talent likes having smaller transmitters than my Sony UWPs. This is the final of what we got. So we fixed a little bit of the loose fabric by just opening up the wings a bit and tightening it. I definitely could have had them spend a lot more, but I think this is extremely functional for the value. I'm gonna talk about this in my end of year finance video, but the reason I made more money this year is because I was solving my clients' problems. So I had to overnight this Amazon product because they said, we want to do some phone filming where we're gonna have 3 characters, and my DJI Mic 2s only have 2 transmitters, and I was really racking my brain trying to figure out, do I have 2 iPhones with 2 different sets of dual transmitters. How do I sync that? How do I send that over to the post-production company? And then Anthony, who I mentioned earlier in this video, said, no, there's a very cheap solution from Comica. It's like $250 and it comes with 4 transmitters. So I overnighted that as fast as possible, and I just need to see, does this actually work, or how am I going to figure out tomorrow? So I open up all of the pieces, and it says, please purchase the relevant audio cables and adapters by yourself. I mean, what's the point? So if I didn't have this in my bag, I wouldn't be able to use this tomorrow. You would think out of all the cables they give you, it would work. So they give you a 3.5 mil to TRRS, I believe, whichever the one is for phone, except phones don't have this anymore. So what you are supposed to have by yourself is that TRRS or TRS, I'm not sure which one, into the phone adapter. Now, I have a iPhone 13 Pro, so I don't even have USB-C. This was for my iPad. Luckily, I own this. But if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to shoot, and that could be a bummer if you wait to the last minute like me. So we're going to use my girlfriend's phone. She has a newer iPhone. We'll use the USB-C there. One other annoying thing is that when you click playback on your Photos app, you have to unplug this because it tries to route the audio out of the phone into these like they're headphones. But basically what this does, it's a Wi-Fi monitor that sends your phone's screen feed to this, which goes onto the back of your phone. So that way, if this is the side of the phone that, I touch screen, you put this on the back, you're getting these camera lenses facing you, but you can see the feed of this camera, whatever's on your screen, here. So I would say this is like a 3-inch, 2.5-inch screen. I never thought I'd be having all of this phone stuff. It's kind of cool, but it's such lower quality than what I am used to doing. Ironically, I'm getting paid the most I ever have, but I'm using phones. Also, a lot of the content that they're putting out, which is like Facebook ads and stuff, they want it to look UGC. They want it to seem like, oh, it just happened to be filmed. It's not a crew that we hired in Orlando 2.5 hours away that paid for a hotel and mileage and got down here and then had scripting, and that's the opposite of what they want. I'm literally gonna wait for this lady to put her baby in her car because my car will have a cold start and it will absolutely upset that baby. I'm not trying to ruin their day. Ready? Well, this is it. This is the rig for today. We're gonna have 3 sources straight into the phone via USB-C, and we're able to monitor the channels and output. This is gonna be the location because we're trying to make it look as natural and normal as possible.
Forget miles on the treadmill.
Boom.